traditional male locker room, boardroom, kind of misogynistic jokes and behavior, I think oftentimes is comes from a place of, well, I'm not going to speak up because I'll be viewed negatively if I stand up for the rights of a woman. And I think globally that happens on a much more basic human um, protection level with women and all kinds of crimes against their bodies and against themselves in areas of the world where women are mutilated and raped. And so I think I was thinking of this kind of concept of what is it in a man that allows that to happen. You know, that's a big topic. I know.
That's a big topic. I mean, I think that clearly there are enough historical references to the notion that men have feared women throughout history. I mean, all we have to do is obviously look at everything from the witch hunts, the Spanish Inquisitions, to the rape and pillaging of women that is going on right now in the Congo and other places.
Right.
So clearly, women have some power over us as men collectively that we fear. And what is that power in them that is not developed enough in us that we need to fear it? So, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's something in us that we see in them that they have that we don't have. And because our inclination, our disposition from an evolutionary perspective, a biological perspective, and certainly an intellectual perspective, is to conquer that which we don't have access to. The only way to conquer that which we don't have, that innate power that a woman has, is to kill it.
Yeah.
Is to rape it, is to plunder it.
And I also think what happens to men as we transition from boys to manhood is that we're taught if we do have any part of that in ourselves, we should suppress and kill that out of ourselves too, so that our own femininity is something to be ashamed of.
That's right. And I think that I've been doing yoga for 20 years now and been involved in the yoga community in Santa Monica, which some would say Santa Monica is the great exporter of yoga to the rest of the country.
Right.
Because it started here with Yoga Works and has gone from there when there were probably 10 yoga studios across the country 20 years ago. And I've observed a wave where there's a lot of men who, despite their sexual preference, heterosexual, homosexual, doesn't matter. There is a wave of men who are deeply trying to get in touch with their feminine side, right?
Sure.
So they go to the other side of that because they have been so trained by society and parents and societal constructs to be so male dominated. So we're moving through this period where we are those who are doing the work on one end of the spectrum are engaging and experiencing their so-called feminine side. Well, there's still an imbalance there, but that's where we are, I think, in the evolution, right?
Yeah.
But the good news is, I think, is that there is a willingness amongst men to soften, so to speak. That doesn't mean that we have to become like women. It just means to soften, to not be so triggered by this learned and innate need to conquer and to destroy.
Right.
And so, once again, showing those women and celebrating them in the stories and the interviews that you're doing can maybe open us up to seeing a different way of being.
Yeah.
There's a point at which we need to not see this as a male versus female thing. Yeah. Because I think this is what's happened sort of in the unraveling of the feminist movement, is that there became a greater divide, a greater friction, a greater, higher level of resistance between men and women, because women felt the need to apply male tactics in order to conquer their lack of maleness in a male-dominated world. So they learn the behavior. But that's, in my mind, going in the opposite direction. And I think that's why the so-called feminism movement, while important as an evolutionary step in the coming together of the we,
Mm-hmm.
disintegrated
Mm-hmm.
in many respects. And so there are strengths and weaknesses of being a man, and there's strengths and weaknesses of being a woman. So it's how do we sort of honor and experience all that is unique to a woman and all that is unique to a man, and come together around the sort of the common aspects and the common traits, which are just really embodied in our humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree.